Welcome to the Abundance Hack Show, where we are inspiring you to ditch the outdated beliefs, release the blocks, and fully embrace your sovereignty so you can confidently expand to allow more love, joy, and aligned success in your life. I am Niajae, your conscious accountability partner, reminding you that abundance is your birthright. Hey M&Ms, thank you for tuning into the Abundance Hack Show. What are you manifesting in your life today? If you are joining me for the first time, although M&Ms are really yummy candies, it actually stands for magical manifestors. And today's guest, I'm so excited to speak to her, is Nathalie Henrich, and she helps women step into their feminine power with several healing modalities like Reiki, sound therapy, tantrika, and even Oriental medicine. So before we dive into who she is and all that she does, Nathalie, I want to ask you, what does abundance mean to you?
Oh, hi. Thank you so much for having me here. What does abundance mean to me? That's such a good question. Abundance to me means that the ability to have everything that you desire.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And I feel like sometimes we forget what we desire. We lose sight of that. So it's almost like remembering what you desire and knowing that you're worthy of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's the main issue of everybody. Like most people when they come is because they forget who they really are. They forget what they really have and they forget about their potentials. So they forget actually that they are an abundant bundle walking around, and we're just here to remind them as healers, I guess.
Yes, I love it. And that's what you actually help women do. Remember their wisdom, right? So tell us all about you. Who is Nathalie Henrich?
Okay, so I was born and raised in Germany. My dad is German, my mom, she's Korean. My mom was very, very Asian with me. I grew up very disciplined. I played a lot of instruments and had a lot of ballet and dance and all of that. So I remember that my childhood was like every day something else, and I was even teased in school by some kids because they would just hang out and watch movies and stuff, and I could not watch TV. And I was just like every day my mom was up to something every single day. And I remember back then I disliked it a lot, but now I'm so grateful for my mom. I'm so grateful for her. And I always tell her, oh my God, I'm so grateful. But when you're younger, you don't really see it, right? So yeah, that's how I grew up. And then I started traveling a lot when I was in my 20s. I became a banker because I didn't know what to do with my life really. So I kind of went away from the music and I went away from spirituality, even though my mom is Korean, but I didn't really grow up in a very spiritual household per se. It was just very like, we didn't believe in anything. We didn't believe in God. We didn't believe in nothing. So it's also very German. Our German culture is very like, yeah, I don't know if I believe it. If I don't see it, I don't really believe it. It's very rational. So yeah, then I thought I have to become a banker, and then I studied finances and I got to travel a lot through the world. And but it was always like a mix in between spirituality and seeing. Like I remember I was in Singapore working for my bank, and then I used to go to Indonesia and to Thailand and to Bali and Cambodia and all these countries, and you would see so much spirituality, and I would go, but then at nighttime I would go party. So it was like I wasn't really like in that, that I really wanted to pursue spirituality or healing for myself even. And then in my early 30s, I came to Miami. I met my ex-husband back then. So we met in Germany and we came together to Miami. I had 3 kids. I became a mother and I was staying home for a while. I was living in a very abusive marriage with him. And it really broke me. Like that really broke me, that time, these 10 years that broke everything that I was. It rewired or questions everything that I have ever known or I've ever been. And then I started studying acupuncture. So I graduated as a doctor in Chinese medicine. And then I came into sound healing. And then I came into the plant medicine. And then everything, my whole life became that spiritual thing because I started healing myself from everything that I have experienced on a physical, emotional level. And so then it became a lifestyle. Then it became my life. And then it became my passion. And then it became my work. And here we are. Now this is my abundance. This is what I do.
Oh my goodness, I love it. I had like chills as you were speaking. I love it. So I'm so fascinated. I was just watching a video on Instagram of yours where you had the copper pyramid and how you set up your sessions, and just the good vibes just from the video alone is amazing. So I want to dive into how you said you healed yourself, and because I know that sound therapy can heal on a cellular level. So how would you explain the healing process if someone has gone through some trauma, how these different healing modalities can help them overcome the trauma?
Yeah, good question. So, first and foremost, I believe that the healing starts with you. So, I've noticed that some people come and say, I want to heal, but they're not really ready to get rid of their story. So, it's one thing that you really want it, like really want it from the heart, or that you think you go to somebody and they can resolve it for you. So, I think it's two different things, right? So, you really have to want it. It's like with everything in life, like if we always see that in people that are very successful, say, if you really want it, then you can have it. So it's like, I have seen people trying to heal for many, many years and they don't have a lot of outcome. And then there's people that really want to heal. And in between 2, 3 months, everything shifts. So I think that's the first step, like, is your mindset is like, how sick and tired are you actually of your own bullshit? How sick and tired are you, enough sick and tired to be sick and tired of yourself? You say like, okay, now today I'm going to change something. And so then I believe any healing modality can actually help you if you're ready to receive that healing. So you ask yourself, am I really ready to actually receive the healing? Am I ready to get out of my patterns, because it's so familiar and we're so we always, our human mind always wants to go in what we know already, even if it hurts. But if I have done it for years, I stay in it because I feel safe, even if it's painful, but it's a safe place to be, right? So do you want to get out of that safe place and want to come to a sound healer like you and I are doing? You're also doing this beautiful work I've seen on Instagram. It looks amazing, all the bowls and everything is, but it's like, it's magical and it looks awesome. But if I go, do I really go with the intention to really let go of me, of my ego, of everything that I think that defines me, right? So I think when you start there, then any healing really can help you. Of course, sound healing is a very powerful tool, and we're probably going to dive deeper into it. Frequency. Everything is frequency, not only the sound bowls or I don't know, the singing. Like even talking is a frequency. Like if I have a fight with my partner or with a friend of mine, or we exchange something that's unpleasant, all of that is already a frequency. All of that influences my cells, it influences my mind, it influences my heart, it just, it influences everything. So yes, I believe that any healing can help you if you're ready to really heal, if you really want to do it, if you really want to do the work.
Yes, and there's so many layers of it too. Like it's that
Mhm.
never-ending blooming onion where you peel a layer back and then there's another layer. So like you
Yes,
said,
that's another thing.
yeah, it
Mhm.
it
We
becomes
think
a
like, oh, now I have
lifestyle.
it all. We think like, oh, now I have it all figured out, and it's like, boom, next thing. So it's like a path. Healing is not like, okay, I come. Sometimes I have people tell me, how long is it gonna take me in order to be this and that? And it's like, I don't know, because I haven't figured it all out. I do healing for others, and I can heal what I know, but I still in my life have also things that I need to, figure out, and or maybe I have it figured out and then all of a sudden I fall back and then I realize, oh, actually I have not figured it out, so I have to address it again. So it's a path. It's not that I go to a session and I get a certificate. It's like, okay, you graduated now and you are healed. It's not like that. It's a conscious path, right? We're like, okay, I'm conscious about it now, so now I can address it, and I believe it's going to go on until you leave this earth. There's always something that you have to heal and that you have to figure out.
Yes, I'm so glad you said that because I received the same question like, okay, this is going to help me overcome this, and I'm like, really the choice is yours. Like, are you ready to let this go? And I think a
Mhm.
lot of it is fear of the unknown. Like, who will I be if I don't identify with this victim mentality? Who will I be if I give up this pattern or habit or programming? And that unknown scares people.
Yes, super scary because we're used to things, and we just don't want to. It's like we learn already as children. We always say kids need routines. We love our routines, and it's really, really hard to get out of our own routines. Like I said, again, even if it's painful, it's still a routine. and you'll feel comfortable in that story. Even if you know in your head, you're like, no, but I don't want to be here. Yes, I know. I don't want to be here either. But you're still in here because your body, your cells, everything inside you feels comfortable here. It's very uncomfortable to start healing. It's a very uncomfortable and painful process. It's not like, oh, the angels fly around and I feel in bliss. The bliss comes much later. Is when you break out of it, it's very uncomfortable. All kinds of, excuse my friends, but all kinds of shit comes up, and you're like, damn. Sometimes like, why did you even open this door? And this is why we have also people sometimes like, I had a traumatic experience, but I don't really remember it. It's because your subconscious is saying, don't open this door. Don't open. If you open it, it's gonna be a mess. So yeah.
Yes. So, how would you explain feminine power? If someone is not familiar with like masculine and feminine energy and what that even means, how would you explain to a woman what her feminine power is?
So that's a good question. So I always like to explain the balance of the feminine and masculine with the yin and yang, because everybody knows yin and yang, right? So you have the black part and you have the white part of the yin and yang, and it's a balance, right? So the yang is the white part. So it's the masculine, it's the sun, it's the daylight, it's force, it's loud. It's like, yeah, when you wake up in the day, like everything that has to do with the day. And the feminine is the black side of the yin and yang, is the dark, the mystics, the moon, nighttime, right? So according to traditional Chinese medicine or also other teachings, the left side is the dark side, is the feminine side, and the right side is the light side, the masculine side. So if you tune into your body, you'll see like when you feel sometimes stronger with your right side or stronger with your left side, is because that's where you kind of where you're at right now, right? Or sometimes we have like these weird pains in our bodies. People come and say, I have this pain on this right side, but I don't know, the doctors tell me I don't really have anything. So that's like an imbalance in your masculine, something that you have to address in your masculine, right? Or vice versa. So the balance of it is where we're at right now nowadays, right? We try to find a balance between the masculine and feminine, because a lot of times it is not balanced. And so we women, for instance, tend to nowadays do pretty much everything. We give birth and we go work and we make money and we pay the bills. There's a lot of single moms like myself. So even if we look feminine, but we operate very much in our yang and our masculine energy, all of that is masculine energy. So just the knowing, where is it actually that I'm operating at right now? Am I operating more in my masculine? Am I operating more in my feminine? Also, like for instance, if you have a couple and there's like typical women that want to be very dominant, say, no, this is how it needs to be, and this is how we're gonna get it done, and you don't know anything. So what you're doing, you're suppressing the masculine, right? Because we feel very empowered nowadays. We women like we're up to something. We're super empowered right now, but we also misuse that in a way. So it's like, how can I also be know where I'm operating at right now, but also how can I be more in the energy that I'm actually supposed to be in. So that's a very, very delicate dance that we're all trying to figure out in this world right now.
Yeah, I think there is a lot of, so I say like the masculine version is like toxic masculinity, but I think that there is toxic independence going on right now where the feminine feel the need to take on more masculine energy, but I think that as a female entrepreneur that is very like driven and very much in her masculine, I realized long time ago that I have to find that balance and kind of reel it in because my femininity is like craving to come out, and like I want to express more of that feminine aspect, and just letting women know that there's so much power in our femininity. We don't have to try to be like a man. There's a lot of that, the toxic independence. I was very much taught like always take care of yourself, never depend on a man, and it creates this it creates a lot of resistance and a
Mhm,
lot of toxic energy. So trying to get past all of that to get
mhm,
back to our feminine power.
mhm. Also, because we have the reason why we women are like, I don't need no man, I'm doing it, I got this, is because we have a lot of memories stored also. So we come from a very long patriarchic, patriarchic, I I always like
I know
this
what you mean.
word, the German in me. Okay, you know what I mean. So we come from that for hundreds of years, so the feminine has been suppressed for a long time. So what's happening now is like we're like, okay, F this, I'm just doing my thing, I don't depend on anybody, and nobody can do with me whatever they want to. But it's also because we have that memory stored that when I depend on a man, he's going to harm me, which is not true. Poor men, because there's a lot of men that are awesome, and there's a lot of men that are really, really super supporters, and they're very aligned with the feminine, and they would never harm the feminine, right, overall. But we have that so stored in our head, also our music industry, like everything nowadays trains us to just become that woman so that doesn't need nobody, and it's very sensitive. And poor our men, because in this also our men get very like insecure and really don't know what to do, and like, okay, what's going on? Should I just stand for myself and be like, no, but I'm still a man? Or should I just give in, and should I just be all feminine? And so it's like it's a whole confusion. But the confusion comes from the woman, because we are the holders of the universe. We have the cosmic womb inside of us. We plant the seeds, we give birth. We are the ones that have Mother Earth, Gaia, inside of us. Our womb is not here only to make babies. Our womb is here to plant seeds, to create. This is why we also the holder of the house. We are the one that actually make sure that the house is warm, that we take care of our kids, that we have plants and food, and that when our men come home, that they feel safe. So now a lot of women already, oh my God, when the guy comes home and rolling their eyes and I have to cook, right? But let's just get away from the story of, they do whatever they want with it. Let's just create a story with a healthy balance between the masculine and feminine. Any woman would say, oh yeah, I love that. I would love to be at home. I would love to create and cook, like even if it's like it hurts inside of you. It's like, oh no, I don't want to do this for them, I don't want to cook, but like if you go to the basics of it and get away from the trauma, it's like it's a beautiful thing. We women are here together to warm, we receive the men, we're warming them, we giving warmth from our womb to our men, to our babies, right? So this is what we naturally do, really. And so yeah, the question is, how can we nowadays like create that, be more conscious about it, and let go of these stories and create something different in our own universe. So also taking our man, now as we know that now that we know that we're holding the universe inside of us, the womb, we are the one that we set the tone. So when we know that we set the tone, so we can also set the tone for our masculine to be better, because also a lot of times I look at women as like there's a lot of toxic feminine and they take advantage of men, and so we're setting the tone to take an advantage of them. So that's not healthy either. So we confuse everything. So the more we do our own work as a female and with our own alignment, the more our men will follow. We have these things where we don't think about, it's like, oh yeah, men always do, they only think with their penis and they always follow whatever you say, they do it. But yes, it's true, but at the same time, it's like if you're conscious about it, then walk good, get yourself straight, get yourself aligned, so the man can follow that alignment and not so much the other alignment that is like completely out of alignment, right?
Yes, I love it. Yeah, the more we stand in our feminine power, the more we can create space for that divine masculine. So I absolutely love it. What do you do for energetic self care? Life challenges us. However, we have tools to help us navigate the transitions, release trapped emotions, maintain positive energy, and expand to allow more joy and excitement. Abundant and Aligned Society is an energetic self care accountability program that helps you go from stress and anxiety, fight or flight, to operating from a place of abundance and alignment. Go to niajae.com/society for more information and start vibrating higher. So if a woman is like, okay, this sounds amazing. So how do I start to step into my feminine power? What are some action steps they can take?
Mm-hmm. So I would say really what it is that awareness of that you hold the universe inside of you, and that you can really set the tone, and that anything that you do is going to reflect on your partnership. Also I have women that think, oh, I don't know, I just do this for myself, but nobody's really listening. But yeah, your kids will listen, and you talk to your sisters, you talk to your friends about it. So, and maybe out of 10, two friends will be interested also in what you do, and then they, also will go into practices and stuff, and into the awareness. So just the awareness that you have a womb, and you have a lot of power, and nourishing your womb more, taking care more of her. Like, for instance, when you have your period, I love that practice. When you have your period, putting your blood to the earth and just give thanks, to Mother Earth, that you're able to bleed. We want to neglect our periods now. We want to go to the gym. It's like, damn, no, I cannot work, I cannot go to the gym, I cannot do this, I cannot do that. Instead of really sitting in that, it's something very sacred. It's a blessing, that we can bleed, and that we can give life, that we can give birth. And just having these little practices, for instance, also like yoni eggs, working with crystals that can heal your womb, and just like look more into trauma work also for your womb. We have a lot of trauma stored in our womb through partners or things that happen to us, and then we just keep on going, and we never really actually take time to detox our own womb. Like, we detox our minds, we detox our hearts, we go detox your stomach and do all these juicing and all that, but we never really detox actually our womb energetically from everything that's stored there, because our womb is our temple. It's a powerhouse, and it stores all the knowledge, ancient knowledge, and also what you've lived here on this earth. So when was ever a time that you say, let me detox my womb, and let me detox all the guys I've been with, and all the trauma that I've been through? And I don't know, maybe you had surgeries, you had abortions, cysts, fibroids, cancer. There's so much, when do you really think about that? Even normal discharge, right? Like, you have discharged all the time, and you're like, whatever, you get used to it, and then you just have it, but it's like, really, when did you think about this, detoxing it, and like getting rid of your discharge? It's just little things like that. And then I think the other thing that you really can do is like work on your sexuality. Like, if you really, really get aligned with your own sexuality, is when everything shifts. Yeah.
There's so much that I'm like taking notes to remember to ask certain things. So, okay. So I haven't ever done a like menstrual cycle ceremony or anything like that. So
Mhm.
that's a whole nother topic that I feel like we could probably do like just an episode on that alone. I am
Yeah.
familiar with yoni eggs.
Hmm.
So I do have a few of those, but I saw on your page, womb massage oils. So I have to ask
Hmm.
about that. So explain what it is and the benefits of that.
Hmm. So the womb massage oil I created, with different herbs that have calming properties and warming properties, because when you bleed, basically, in Chinese medicine, what happens is like, it's a cold pattern. It's considered a cold pattern in Chinese medicine. So it means like, you bleed, you lose the blood, and so your womb gets cold, right? We all know when our body loses blood, it eventually dies because it's getting cold, right? So that's what happens. So our womb gets cold, and so the blood goes out, and so we want to warm it now, and we want to calm it down. And this is also why we have cramps. It's because it's getting cold. I don't know if you ever really were like in a cold environment, cold weather, and your body cramps, and it's actually painful. It can be painful. So that's what's happening when you have your period. So what you want to do is that you want to warm up your womb. And one of the things, you can do it through nutrition, you can do it through other things. Moxa, for instance, I just posted a video today about moxa. But you can also do it through womb oils, and you can just massage your womb with it for couple of minutes, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, which we usually never do. So besides that, you're also warming up your womb, you're also giving your womb some nourishment, you're giving her some love, which when you sit down and really massage your womb, you want to have a massage on your head or on your feet, but you really don't massage your womb. So it's like, it's also, besides that, an amazing opportunity to just sit with your womb, massage her, and give her some love. But yes, there's herbs in there like mugwort and comfrey and other things that really warm up your womb. And so when you massage it, the warmth will go into your womb, and it relieves your cramps, and you just relax more.
Okay, so I try to think about questions that the audience will want to know once they
Mhm.
hear things. So I'm sure that there's someone out there that's like, "Is she talking about masturbation?" So, like, can you clarify the difference between a womb massage versus masturbation?
Okay, well, the masturbation is on your vagina. So I'm not talking about a yoni or vagina massage. I'm talking about a womb massage, which is like literally above your navel, right? So it doesn't include any vaginal massages. So
Okay.
vaginal massages like that goes more into yoni massage. We do that in a tantric, more in tantra, or like sexuality. When we open up to that, that's when we go more into yoni massages. But yeah, womb massage is just on your womb. It's not a sexual event.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
yeah. Mhm.
Just I feel like someone would have asked that question or wondered and maybe not
Probably.
have said it. So
Yeah, because if you hear,
this is the area, like,
sorry.
where you have cramps, basically.
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
because also when you hear massage and oil, you think automatically about sex, right? Or like sexual interaction, right? But no, it's just really for your womb and for your well-being, and just feeling safe and held in that space.
Yeah. So my next question is, how do you detox your womb?
Mhm. There's so much to say about this. So where I'm gonna start, I'm just gonna start with the food. So food is very, very important, as we all know. I mean, we all, like, nowadays we're so conscious about our foods, right? That doesn't mean necessarily that you should be juicing or something like that, because it's also like a trendy thing and it's not for everybody. Me, for instance, I cannot be juicing and eating all greens because my stomach gets horribly upset with that. So it's not for everybody. But overall, um, when you have vaginal discharge, which a lot of women do have, track your food a little bit and see what is it that you're eating. So you will notice the cleaner that you're eating. Cleaner means like more greens. Drinking celery juice is a super amazing tool. Drinking celery juice, watermelon, cucumbers, all of these things are like very cleansing, instead of maybe too much meat or too much chicken. Even chicken, people like thinking chicken is full of hormones and stuff, so it can create a lot of damp. Also dairy, that most people know nowadays, that dairy creates a lot of dampness. So dampness is like moisture in your stomach. So you can just visualize, like, imagine you would drink some milk and then you have it in a moist environment for 3 days, right? So yeah, I know, it's like yucky. So what it creates, it's like it's fungus, right, inside of your um, digestive system. So all of that also obviously goes through your womb and it goes through your vagina. So you create that dampness, creates discharge, which sometimes is smelly, or it can be yellowish, or even white discharge. Discharge overall is not normal. So usually you shouldn't be discharging. The thing is, like, that most women do that or have it for many years, and so you're so used to it. So just be more mindful about your foods, and you also realize maybe when you drink more alcohol or eat just more meat or barbecues overall, that you just have more discharge than on days where you may just eat more quinoa and drink celery juices and eat peppers, right? So that's one thing. Then the other thing is, like, try not to wear no more underwear. So I know that if you work in corporate, you wear a lot of suits and jeans and stuff, then obviously you have to wear underwear, because otherwise it's just going to be painful. But like, if you're somebody that has more freedom with their clothing or self-employed or something, try to wear more yoga pants or skirts or dresses, and really get rid of your underwear, because underwear, most of us women, we don't wear the 100% cotton underwear, right? And then we put tampons and we put the pads and all of that. So what we're doing, we're just constantly creating a sticky environment in our vaginal area. So we never really, even at night, most of the time we wear underwear. So try to be as naked as you can down there, because you basically, there's always fresh air coming in. It helps you with smells. It helps you with the vaginal discharge also, because your womb automatically is going to be cleansing more. So try that if you can. Like, that's like so healthy, and you will so get used to it, and you will so love it. Also, when you have your period, these things with the tampons. Like tampons, you put it up into the vaginal canal, and basically the blood doesn't cannot flow out. So you have it in there for a couple of hours, and it creates even more bacteria. There's a lot of women that get UTIs or yeast infections after their period, and it's because of that. It's because of using tampons or pads that are not you can get them better in Whole Foods, right, where they're like more not as much not so many chemicals. Or there's even the ones that you they're the rewashable ones. There's also Diva cups, which for some women is very a Diva cup is like a little plastic cup that you put like on the end, entering your vagina, and then the blood can flow into that cup. But for some women that's very complicated. Some women vibe good with it and some just don't. But there's other things that you can just do to in order to just let your vaginal area breathe more, if you're on your period or not, it doesn't matter. So that. And what else? Yeah, the other things are just practices, like you said, yoni eggs, like yoni eggs are crystals, like crystal eggs that you put into your vaginal canal, and you leave them in overnight or during the day. You can heal stuff with that. Practices like donating your blood to the earth is a beautiful thing. And then sex overall, also look at your partner. Sometimes women eat very, very clean and they still have a lot of infections because their partner is drinking beer every day and eating barbecue. So their sperm also influences our pH. And that's like huge because women always think, oh, it's my problem, it's not his problem. But you have to look at him too, how he eats, how he lives. Does he smoke, drink a lot of coffee? All of that also influences your vaginal health.
That is so much information. And I know that we have some male listeners. So maybe this is something that you want to share with your partner, or even if you have like a sister. I know that there's a lot of people that get uncomfortable when we start talking about
Mm-hmm.
vaginas and, menstruation and stuff like that. But I think that taking the tabooness out of it is important because it is our health. And so that feminine power goes beyond just energy, it goes into health and really taking care of yourself and honoring yourself and your womb. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, if men are listening, men always think, what is it that I can do? Well, you can do that. You can do it to your partner. You can go to her and say, hey, why don't you try a yoni egg? Why don't you try not wearing underwear and let me do my part and let me eat a little bit better if she has a lot of infections and stuff, like do your work too, drink cleaner water. Don't drink the plastic bottle water. Try to drink good filtered water. Try to eat better, because your sperm is, like men usually you don't have a moist environment, so you go to the urologist and they tell you, oh, you don't have anything, but you still have a lot of things. You can just not track it down like with women because we have a moist environment, so it's so easy to find something. But men have a huge part in this too. It's big, it's bigger than actually most people think. So there's so much that you can do as a man too, to just bring more awareness and help your woman, and cater to her health, and make her feel better.
Yeah, and open up the dialogue. I think that these are
Mm.
conversations that people don't have in relationships. And I think it's really, really important, especially in a conscious relationship. So in a how do you feel about yoni baths or like yoni steams? Are you familiar with those? I'm sure you're familiar with them.
Yeah, I am. I sell them myself. I sell my own yoni steams. I
Okay.
also have once a month yoni steams events where we come together and steam together. It's so much fun. So yes, I'm very familiar with them and I love it. I think it's amazing. So now there's just a misconception that some people think they can just yoni steam and heal everything, and that's not the case. Yoni steaming, what it really is, for the ones that don't know what it is, it's just a couple of herbs that you put into hot water, and then you put the hot water into a little bowl and you sit on it, right? And so you don't sit on the water, you just sit on the steam. So you don't wear underwear. Ideally you have like a long skirt, and then the steam is going to go into your womb or into your vaginal walls. And what it does, it moistens them, and it can also cleanse light things like maybe a little bit of an itching or vaginal discharge. And overall it also cleanses energetically. So it's amazing to do the steam after your period, because you get out the rest of what's still in there. Or when you just finish a relationship, steam with intention, because like, again, like we said at the beginning, everything is also what you have in your mind. If you steam with an intention, say, let me please get away from that relationship, or maybe you're still in love, or maybe it was painful, and you steam it out. You let it out of your womb, because your womb has it all stored, right? Because you had sex with this person, so you want to steam it out, you want to sweat it out. And so usually it's like, I don't know, like 20 minutes or something like that. And it's also like the womb massage is an amazing time to just sit with your womb and align with yourself, connect to yourself, and ask yourself, what is it that I actually need right now? Where am I, with my womb, with my sexuality, with my femininity? What is it that I want to manifest? So yeah, yoni steaming is an amazing time to do all of that.
Yeah. So there is a spa in Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta for 9 years, and there's a spa that offers it. It's like I don't even know what you call it, but it's a 24-hour spa. And usually when I say that, people are like, but it's really amazing. Like you go in and you have all these different services, and they have like saunas that have like there's a jade sauna, there's a salt and like a salt sauna, there's like a gold and silver, there's an amethyst one. It's absolutely amazing. And they offered it, and it's a really like great experience. Like you feel, so they put the whole cloth over you, so it's detoxing your whole body because of the steam and the heat, and just the herbs. Like you feel, I don't know, I feel like I leave smelling like tea for like days after.
Oh my
But
God, now I want to go to this place. Where is that?
it's
Sounds
it's called
amazing.
it's called Jeju. It's in Atlanta, and I love it. Where are you located, by the way?
I'm Miami, a little bit north from Miami, in
Okay.
Hollywood. Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, you did say Miami. I didn't know if you still were in Miami. So you're not that far. I live in Florida, and it's definitely something that I want to bring to the Tampa Bay area because there isn't a place that offers that. So we'll have to talk about
Mm.
that after we get off the
I
call.
know, girl. So we should. I'm excited.
So there's so much that I can talk to you about, but to wrap it up, I want to ask you, what are your top 3 tips for living an abundant life?
Okay, so my first tip is to do routines. um Morning routines, especially because when we wake up in the morning we start worrying about all kinds of things. So your morning routine is like super super important. So write yourself a letter. I love when somebody writes themselves like a womb letter, like all the love that they want to give themselves, the things that they want to manifest, and pretend as if it would be already be happening, if as if you would have it already. So the routines with that, the morning routines are super important. Then the next is your own prayer. Definitely. So make yourself another routine. Actually, like you can pray to the full moon. It's when cycles end, right? The full moon, you use the moon energy when cycles end, when you just want to say thanks to things and thank you to what you have achieved. And then on a new moon, you can pray or manifest to new beginnings, to what you want to address. So I've noticed for myself that I do this for years now. Every new moon and every full moon in my calendar, I will not miss it. Like even if it's not on a new moon day, you still have 3 days after the new moon. It's the same energy. Same with the full moon. You have not only the full moon days, it's 3 days after. You can still do it at nighttime, in the evening time. It doesn't have to be a long thing, but really sit with yourself and write down what you want and like manifest it, really manifest it. And the third one is work on your self-love. And I know it sounds so like everybody's like, ah, self-love is such a topic, but really work on loving yourself. However you do that, it can be with esteem, it can be doing your womb work, it can be just reading your own manifestations, it can be mirror work where you look in the mirror every day and just talk to yourself and say the most amazing thing and how freaking lit you are, but like work on that, because when you work on your self-love, your surroundings will change, and the people that come into your life will change, and the offers will change, and you will also be able to offer more of what you really have inside, because the only reason why a lot of people don't do what they really feel doing is because they think they're not good enough, or they think they don't know where to start. So when you work on your self-love and like really aligning with yourself and being confident in who you are and what you are, and not speaking on the outside, also on the inside, that's when you actually really can do a contribution to your community, and start doing your own work, and that's when everything unfolds and other doors open, and then you have full potential for everything, because universe or God wants always everything for you. The only person that hinders that it from it happening is your head, you know, is you being in a head about it.
Yes, I love it. Thank you so much. So, where can people find you online?
So you can find me on my website, nataliehenrich.com, on my Facebook and Instagram, same thing, Nathalie Henrich. And yes, that's it. I will always respond.
Awesome. Well, I will definitely have her links in the show notes so you can check her out. She is absolutely amazing. I love everything that you're doing, from the sound therapy and just the sessions. Your sessions look so magical. So, thank you for providing such a beautiful sacred space, because it is definitely needed these days. And we
Yeah.
will definitely stay in contact because we're not far from each other, so we can put together some
Yes,
retreats and,
totally.
some yummy stuff.
Yes, yes, yes. You should totally do it.
Yay. All right, M&Ms, until next time, be decadent. Thank you for tuning in to the Abundance Hack Show. I would love to hear from you. Leave your comments and questions, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our yummy episodes. Every time you leave a 5-star rating or review, I do my happy dance.